Hungry for sensible discussion regarding issues that affect human lives? Thirsty for sensible and deep thought provoking ideas regarding common questions and concerns in our daily living? Tired of hearing people talk, yet most of the verbal output just uphold the fallacies and pretensions? Well, it's time to join us and sharpen your thoughts by making it creative and reasonable through the presentation, dissection, and detailing of the issues we will be tackling every time we talk. This is your host, Rose Gonzaga Jr., known to the academic community as Sir Nhoie. And this is your new logical dining saloon online called Nhoie Talks. If you feel you learned and have been inspired by our talk pieces, place your comments in our YouTube account or in our FB Access account. Please don't forget to share with others so that they will also hear this new talk vlogging program online. So it's time to talk. Join me in Nhoie Talks! Many believe that when you can speak fluently English language, you are already considered an intellectual phenomenon. Well, just be honest with a ground zero stance. This is a fallacy, meaning no foundational truth in the holistic analogy of the skill itself. Yes, English language is a passport to many opportunities because it is the lingua franca of the world. And it is also the language of commerce and diplomacy. However, it does not reflect the inner content of the brain of an individual. Take, for instance, a low average child born in an English speaking country cannot be leveled with an Asian prodigy or gifted individual because content is not equal to spoken language. Today, it is very sad that when people are educated with communication and language degree, right away they will connote it as intelligence and mental advancement. Content knows no language. It can be in Asian, European, African, or even Antarctican minds, but not in the monopoly of excellence in English speaking, or even excellent English speakers. Sometimes it is even alarming that good English speakers with anemic mental content will turn to be funnier to listen to than struggling English speakers with very sensible and deep content bases. To extend the argument wider, it is also applicable that not all English language professionals are also good writers. Yes, you heard it right. It is easier to edit or grammar check write-ups and writing products, but making this is another challenge. A challenge that most English communicators pretend to know. Knowing how to correct essays and write-ups is not a passport to being called a writer already. Oftentimes, a writer is not professionally developed. Some of the best writers in the world came from the unknown group called the freelance writers. Some of them out of school youth, some of them dropouts, some of them uneducated, and a few of them from the lexicon and academic society. What will be the inner gist of these points? Well, if we are looking in the same direction, it is never about language. It is always about what we know and what we have permitted our minds to store that eventually became our internal content. Language, of which English is one of the more famous ones, will just be a lubricated route for our content to be presented and eventually be communicated with the target audience that we will have. Take note, it is not English or whatever language that makes us intelligent and educated individuals. It is what we learned and what we logically accepted that resulted into our internal content that designed our personal intelligence. There will be a big problem if this will not be corrected because many people today profess to speak the international language, and together with that speaking, they imply intelligence and academic brilliance. Well, this is non sequitur. Non sequitur, or the logic does not follow. If we permit ourselves to be swayed by this logic, then we are anchored in the premise of hasty generalization. Now, let me give some socially shallow examples for the points that we are driving here. Knowing a language, especially English, but having an empty coconut shell is just like eating spaghetti without noodles and feasting on a high-end popcorn without corn. Don't get me wrong, I am never against English. In fact, one of my baccalaureate degree and one of my subject focuses of my present college career is English. Certainly, one has an advantage if he or she is well versed with English as a second language. This will be an advantage in education, diplomacy, business, and all types of communication. But still, it will boil down to the basic question: what will you communicate if there is really anemic content inside that brain? What will you transfer to others if there is really absence of gray matters in the four corners of your cranium? Well, I hope our education in this edition of Nhoie Talks visualized the point clearly that there is no substitute to a productive mind, which is our personal content in the world where we are thriving with. If there is a need to cultivate our minds because of its dwindling content, let us not hide in the fallacy that we are filled just because of our expertise in the use of a foreign language such as English. Before we will terminate this conversation, let us internalize Isaiah 1:18, and it says, "Come now and let us reason together." Yes, if we listen to many opinions, we are blessed with many perspectives in the life that we live. Let us not bank too much in hiding what we do not have. Rather, let us be honest with what we can improve within ourselves. It's a great time sharing pieces of our minds together. Once again, this is Sir Nhoie, and thanks for learning with us. Another issue have been clarified here in our favorite Logic Dining Saloon online called Nhoie Talks. I hope to talk with you again in our next issues. To be connected with us, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and press the bell sign when you will access us in YouTube so that you will be informed if there are new uploads available. This is Sir Nhoie, and it has been a pleasure to talk with you. Now, we have erased some fallacies in life and we have lessened the twisting realities that we are facing. See you in our next Logical Dining and Talk here in Nhoie Talks.